travels to the US from Ghana or whichever country it is, you have access to everything. You even get stranded somewhere, and because of your visa infinite, you call and then people will come and pick you. They sort you out. That is how special it is. We also have, the intelligent ATMs where you don't only have to go and withdraw money from, but you can also deposit the money into it. Recently, when this contactless one also came out, you just have to try and configure it on your tablet or your phone. You can stand in front of the ATM machine just about 5 minutes or 2 meters or a meter away, like we are practicing social distancing. You just punch the things on your tablet or your phone. Money comes out without you slotting the ATM card. That's how special it is. Contactless. You are not expecting to have any COVID-19 whatsoever because you don't even touch the machine. So the ATM machines are part or have become one of the impact technology has made in the last decade. They have made life so easy for everyone because you can find them everywhere, in the bars, in the movie theaters, even in the churches, in the hotels, in the grocery stores, many places you can find ATM machines, the filling stations as well, and it has made life so easy. The third one we want to look at is financial integration. We are saying that, look, because of the increased online activity in the banking sector, it has also attracted the attention of other players who were originally not in the banking sector. And I remember, the other day, one guy was talking about how fintechs are pushing so much to take over because the banks are asleep. So there are institutions that now provide banking services such as the payday loans, prepaid credit cards. You can use your check. Business loans for a fee. All these things can be done online. I'm sure we have some online. A lot of people who are able to even source for loans using their mobile phone without stepping there at the bank. Financial integration has been made so easy as well. And this is one of those things that technology has impacted in banking in the last decade. We'll look at the fact that, number 4, it has also gone global. Another big change that has been brought about by technology is globalization of the banking sector. Like I was explaining earlier, if you have a Visa Infinite or a Visa Classic or a Visa, whichever one that you own, you can use it to transact business. In the same way, banking has gone global. It allows you to transact or do business anywhere. So if you are traveling from Kotoka, for instance, to, let's say, the airport in Mexico City, you don't need to worry yourself so much because banking is global. You can transact there. So if you have a StanChart card, or I'm not trying to promote any bank here, but I'm just giving examples. You can transact there without necessarily carrying cash on you, which can also be dangerous because probably somebody or some people can even attack you. So you can operate across the globe. Cloud has made it possible. Again, this is technology. The 5th one, we are saying that technology's impact has made it possible for the internal hierarchy in financial institutions to be shifted. The amount of sub-data held by banks, whether we like it or not, has increased tremendously over the past few years. Data mining is now an integral part of a bank's operations. Many years ago, I'm sure that one of the people or the employees that we revered so much in the banking sector or the institutions were finance people. With all due respect, the finance, that's the reality. If somebody is a finance person, yes, he's there. But these days, I can tell you that IT experts are competing with them so much that they have become so important. A friend said that, look, if you want to break the password of a bank and rob them, look for an IT guy, connect with a finance guy, and then get the guy in charge of database. They'll finish the bank. So now IT guys, IT experts have become very important to the bank. So the hierarchy, where we so much revered head of finance or finance, look, IT people have become the ish of today, the IT experts, because you will need IT experts to be able to manage the data and keep up with the trends. Without them, it can be disastrous. So at least we want to touch on just these 5. There are many others, but these are the 5 that we think that are very, very, we know that they are so, common with us when it comes to the impact technology has had on banking in the last. So we are saying that if in the next 5 or so years, maybe even to the 10th year, we are going to see something exciting, something special, because many specialists there are many pundits in the industry believe that there's still some more to do, and they can do more to. Now let's go on and look at the new trends and how banks can leverage. We believe that nobody, whether you are here or you're not here, would disagree. Nobody would disagree that the banking sector or the industry is going through a massive change, unlike anything we have ever seen before. And that is why this is important to know, so that banks can stay focused and know what they are about going forward. We want to look at an age of collaboration. That is the first one. Age of collaboration. It brings to mind something that one man wrote in his book. He said, no man is an island. You understand? So with all the changes that are happening in the industry so quickly, it is impossible for any organization of any size to do it alone. So we're saying that there must be collaboration. The fintech guys, they are doing all kinds of things to penetrate. And banks cannot just sit down and think that, okay, let me fold my. Of course, if you fold your arms, they will take over. And if you try to compete with them, it can be very dangerous. Why don't you collaborate? So we are saying that there must be the age of collaboration. These are the new trends, and this is what will take us far. People should collaborate so that they will be able to. Banks and these fintech institutions should come together in partnerships. Partnership is so good and so key and so crucial, because the ultimate objective is to improve the customer experience. With all the value that you have to enhance the value transfer. When the right strategic partners are selected, there's definitely going to be agility and seamless integration with all the systems and the products which are already in place. So we are looking at great synergy, going forward. The next one is an age of enhanced data utilization. With enhanced sources of data and technology to process things, there's a great opportunity to proactively identify consumer needs and all the appropriate products and services that are offered. It is very, very important. Profiling customers, profiling consumers. I can imagine how, for instance, you want to improve results, but you don't even know about the profile of your client. Somebody, for instance, was opened an account 5 years ago in a certain bank. He was a student at Legon. 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, you do not expect, the account probably might have even gone dormant whatsoever, but you don't expect the guy to be the same. Even if he's not married, maybe where he stays has changed. His location or the things that he does, he's moved on into the corporate environment or doing his own business whatsoever. These have changed. So we are looking at situations where banks can have softwares that will be able to incorporate all kinds of data. All the things should be a complete profile about the client. A bird in hand is worth two in the bush, so that tomorrow you don't go and look for other clients when you have data on the ones you already have. You just have to spool the data out, get to their clients, get them back, and activate the accounts. The third one, we are looking at an age of the non-traditional player. And what are we saying? We are saying that many legacy financial institutions, when we talk about legacy, we are talking about institutions that are still so glued to the traditional way. What they have in capital, in customers and infrastructure, they often lack that in speed. They often lack that in innovation. And they don't have a genuine focus on the customer or the consumer. That is one thing I've seen with my few years experience in the bank. Legacy financial institutions will have capital, yes. When the BOD wanted to clean the system and we increase the requirement, eventually, by hook or crook, by force and by all means, institutions were able to cough out monies, others merge and all that. Those who weren't able to do, we all know the stories. But these institutions, they lack speed, they lack innovation, they lack genuine focus on the consumer. You will find 10 financial institutions in the same place chasing the same customer. Amazing. And this is why more and more fintech firms have not only entered the banking ecosystem, but they have succeeded in moving the market share. It is all because banks are not innovating. They are not moving on. They are not embracing the new normal. The fintech firms will always serve the customer without being tied to any legacy operations whatsoever. And that is how things are. Let's go on. We'll talk about the age of advanced marketing performance. Again, we look at the data, we look at the analytics, and then the deployment of new marketing technologies. The other day, I told a friend that, look, yes, I know you're a marketing manager of this way, but things have changed. The performance using data, the performance going by digitalization is awesome. It gives you everything you need. That's why data analytics. It would give you all that you need. And I mean, at the time when fewer consumers are switching providers, we expect effective multi-channel marketing to stimulate new customer and organic growth. I tell you what, the biggest threats to banking in 2020 and beyond, it's not so much about the legacy whatsoever. It's about complacency and the unwillingness to change the way banking has been done for decades. That is the biggest threat. So if you're a bank and you are still there, you do not want to change, you are complacent because you think you have your client or your focused clientele base, I tell you, the fintechs are coming. They are coming. All right, let's quickly jump on to the next one. Evolution 4.0 and future of banking. I mean, this is similar to the first industrial revolution, second, third, fourth, you know. So currently we are still in the middle of the third, moving to the fourth. So you realize that digital bank 1.0 were so much glued to e-banking, 1998 to 2002. So if as at 2017, certain banks are so still glued to e-banking and have not moved on to, let's say, multi-channel integration, there are big question marks. There are big question marks. So e-banking, 2003 to 2008, multi-channel integration came in where we were so much concerned about KYC, we were so much concerned about click to chat and call, web-based account origination and all that. And then we moved to the digital bank 3.0, which is the omni-channels, seamless experiences, full function of smartphones and apps. And I know in Ghana, a lot of banks are now coming up with apps, absolutely. But this is 2009 to 2014. We are in 2020. Where are you? This question should be posed to our CIOs and CTOs, Chief Technology Officers, Chief Information Officers. Internet of everything. Internet of everything. No, it's simply, I mean, when we talk about that, it's simply a system of, I mean, correlated devices. You know, you are putting devices, the mechanical devices, the digital devices, all of them together to be able to help in transferring data over a network. That wouldn't require human to human or human to computer interaction. That is digital bank 4.0, the internet of everything. We talk about the fact that these banks will have digital branches. So for instance, right now, if I go to, I mean, whenever I drive past, I mean, 37 and I get to, is it Golden Tulip? Just after Golden Tulip, you will see the building, I mean, used by SG. Again, I'm not promoting it, but I'm just giving an example. You know, SG, it's awesome. You won't see anybody standing there opening the door for you, come in and no. You just enter there and pam, you click on your stuff, whatever you want to go in transaction, fine, you are done, you go. A digital branch. I'm sure by now people are asking, hey, if we have only digital branches, then we are all going to lose our jobs. We'll come to the futuristic jobs and you will see whether you will lose or not. We are talking about, I mean, we're saying that rich cross-cultural collaboration, you know, these are just the fact that there should be a presence of one or more channels. So somebody will use a website and use an app at the same time. But this time we want the presence in multiple, about 5, 10 different, you know, channels that we can use to promote our business or promote our banking work, whether offline or online. So somebody logs on, he sees the same branding, the same structure, the same values, the same tone. Everything about the bank is the same. That is the seamless approach we are talking about. And Internet of Things is going to bring internet cloud computing. We have spoken about that a lot. And that is going to come up, whether we like it or not. So banks must innovate. Let me quickly talk about this one. So Frank van de Brink is the Chief Employee Experience Officer of ABN AMRO. ABN AMRO is the third largest bank in the Netherlands. I think so, yeah. It's the third largest bank there after, I think, ING and the Cooperative Rabobank, yeah, one of them, yeah. And this guy made a comment I like so much. He said, there's a shift going on. We occasionally call it the big migration because you see that automation, business process optimization, robotics, and robotic process automation, that's RPA, are growing and improving. This will definitely impact operation work in the financial industry, but new jobs will also emerge. That's why I was saying earlier, the biggest challenge for all the corporates in financial services is how do we reskill and upskill roughly 50 to 60% of our employees. I expect there will also be new jobs, which we can't even think of now. Amazing. Amazing. So that brings us to the next one. Let me quickly chip in this and say that, look, there's one report that just has come out not long ago in the US, and it found out that 1.3 million bank workers will be losing their jobs, or they will be reassigned due to automation. And globally, finance leaders are predicting about 50% of jobs to be lost. So as these technologies develop, lots of jobs will become obsolete, but many others will come up. And that is where we have to look at. The first one, I picked about 5 of them. That's the ABN AMRO man talked about. The first one has to do with a self-driving finance engineer. You know, like I did mention earlier on, whether we like it or not, there's so much pressure from the fintechs, and they are pushing the banks to diversify their services. I mean, so we are looking at, the fact that going forward, people, when it comes to wealth management, you know, it becomes a pay-as-you-go service. A lot of things like when we are using AI, artificial intelligence, going forward, it should be able to work on student loans, you should be able to work on mortgages. And this would be automatically refinanced at the optimal time. Term investments could also be made and then maybe rebalanced when it is needed. So I can tell you that going forward, one of the jobs that is being looked at when it comes to digitalization is a self-driving finance engineer, somebody who is going to collaborate these things just in the system. All that he does is input, do this, do that, and then the engineering works at the back office will be done. And I can tell you that if you want to probably become something like this, it's all about determination. You want to study, you want to learn, you want to be coached to know this so that when it comes, you will not be behind, but you'll be ahead. And if other jobs are lost through the new changes that are coming, you are going to get, something new. The second one is a crypto forecaster. Look, we cannot talk about the future of finance without discussing cryptocurrencies. That's a fact. So recently, a lot of people have had issues with this. Yes, that is true, because we are yet to embrace and understand. Anything you don't understand, you don't know, it is always a threat. I mean, it's you kind of either push it away or you let it come and overcome you. You understand? So cryptocurrencies are coming, and they are coming in full force. Obviously, post-COVID, we are going to see that. And then a lot of the banks have started to research to test their role if they could play in this area. It is still, somehow murky, so investors and policymakers would want to look at it well, but whether we like it or not, these are things that have been developed, and they will become a mainstay eventually going forward. Whether people, we always forecast the things that are going on, that are coming. People no longer would want to talk about monies, fiscal cash that would monies that can go in digital. I mean, recently somebody online was like, okay, I do not know about this, teach me. And the person taught him, and then immediately asked the person to try it. He tried it, and within an hour or so, the value of his money had gone up. And he was like, wow. So somebody must develop himself or herself to become a crypto forecaster going forward. The third one that we want to talk about is a fintech headhunter or a liaison. A lot of disruptions are going on in the bank. I mean, fintech headhunter is simply somebody who is going to liaise between the fintech companies. That's why earlier when I was talking about an age of collaboration, somebody who's going to liaise between the fintech institutions and the banks. Because there are many things fintechs can do, but the banks cannot until or unless they collaborate. It is very, very important. So somebody who's going to be a liaison between them. So the person has lots of expertise in the area of fintech and be able to collaborate or help the banks to do that. Obviously, when you look at such positions, you expect that they also come with very good remuneration, things that will make you happy, and you wouldn't want to miss it. Cross-company cybersecurity liaison. I think that as we speak about digitalization and all that going forward, one thing that we cannot afford to forget or miss is cyber attacks. These things are in full force. And people every day, just as you would want to protect your home from armed robbers or thieves, they are also every day devising machines or tools to break in. That is how it works. So there are a lot of cyber attacks. And we are saying that the cybersecurity liaison is the person that will be able to, again, when it comes to the collaboration, because fintechs are coming to banks, banks are going to fintechs, who will be able to help in the cybersecurity aspect of the job, to help us so that we can, combat all the threats that come in the form of cyber attacks. Then the last one there is a trust officer. This one, I don't even, I don't see it as something you would need so much of expertise in terms of technology, but it's just an on the job learning. Somebody, we have compliance already in all the bank institutions. So when we talk about a trust officer, somebody who is very compliant, who you can trust information with. You can be sure that, hey, if this person has this, and again, you would have to learn. You would have to go through the teaching. You would have to go through the coaching to be able to come to that level. Somebody, there's one man who works at one of the top security institutions. He met two people, and immediately he met them. He said, you can work well in e-crime. You cannot. And he asked why. He said, even by looking at your face with all my experience, I know you can be dangerous and a threat. So a trust officer should come to that level. We are looking at somebody who will be able to come to that level. Yeah, so these are the 5 that we are looking at going forward that will come. So by way of, let me say, summarizing, let me just say that a lot of discussions are going on the impact of technology, whether we like it or not. But lots of pundits and lots of commentators have said that in as much as there will be job losses because of technology, there will be new ones. And these few ones we have discussed are just a few. There are a lot others there that you can research on. What matters is that as you work in the financial institution or as in the bank, you must continuously develop yourself. I didn't do anything computing, but how come I was able to at least develop myself in digitalization, be able to get the digital marketing certificate and all that? So you have to develop yourself so that you will be ahead of the pack. You don't wait for them to take the lead and then you will follow and you will fail. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ebenezer Asari Suman. That was so detailed and in-depth, quite insightful right there. Woo, such wealth of knowledge. Thank you so much, so much. I believe that wherever you are, in your home, in your office, in your car, if you happen to listen to this, I know you can agree with me that this is so much and too much, even to be taken for tonight. I think we have been adequately informed to make good decisions, in order to approach the future of banking very, very, very accurately. Good. Let me say a few things that I said earlier, but before I say that, keep your questions coming. We'll be addressing them. Yeah, when you check on the screen, you're going to see a Q&A button as well. I'm sure most of you have seen it. Just write your question right there. We are going to attend to it even before the webinar goes off. Even before we officially end the webinar. Let me reiterate the things that I said before the webinar started. I made mention of the fact that the CGIA has you in mind, and because they have you in mind, they have put in place the easiest, fastest, smartest way of communicating with the CGIA by developing country-specific emails. So in Ghana, you're looking at an email like ghana@cgiainstitute.org, where a less than 24-hour feedback is guaranteed any day, any time, from Monday to Sunday. If you are to send an inquiry, an information, you are guaranteed of feedback in less than 24 hours. And the CGI did this just because they have you in mind. I was also asking that if you happen to be a CGI member or a CGI charter holder candidate, have you already told friends about this? Have you told family about this? Have you told your work colleagues about this? About the limitless opportunities that the CGI gives to all members, all candidates? Have you told them about that? Have you told them about the globally recognized professional certification that has the capacity to give them competitive edge over industry peers? This is exactly what we expect you to do on a daily. Tell people about the CGIA. We are encouraging you to actually continuously share the flyers that CGI puts out there on any social media platform, be it LinkedIn, be it on Facebook, be it on Instagram, I mean anywhere. Just be a part of the move. And together, let's lead. Okay. Okay. So we are quickly taking your questions and then we're going to address them accordingly. Once again, Mr. Suman, thank you so much. So much. Thank you so much. So we
Thank
have
you.
two questions, Mr. Suman. Okay. So we have two questions. Okay. Okay. So
Right.
someone says that from Isaac Kumesina. Okay. He says that yes, fintech has come to stay. To what extent of transaction can fintech take? To
All
what
right.
extent of transaction can fintech take? That's from Isaac.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So thank you very much, Isaac. So I mean, when I was speaking earlier, I remember I spoke about the fact that we are in the age of collaboration. The reality is that banks cannot do everything when it comes to technology. I mean, when I say they cannot do everything, there are things they will need to collaborate. So fintechs will do part, banks will do part. If fintechs are, let me use the word, if they are given licenses to operate in different ways, I can tell you for a fact that they can take as much as possible. I mean, the cloud is there, it's open. They can take as much as possible. You are only looking at threats like probably cyber attacks or so ever, but they can take as much as possible. However, that is not the aim. The aim is to collaborate with banks because there are things they will fall short of in terms of delivery. But in terms of what the transaction they can take, they can, somebody say they can swallow as much as possible, like the whole swallowing Jonah. That one, there wouldn't be limitations, but they will need to collaborate to deliver. So in terms of delivery, they need to collaborate with the banks to be able to come up with that. So that is the answer I can give you on that.
Okay, thank you very much, Ebenezer. I hope that Isaac has got the answer he's looking for. We have another question from, but this person is an anonymous attendee. He didn't add his name. He's asking, he's saying that who is a traditional player in a bank? Is the transformation of customers to non-traditional players inevitable? I take that again. He said, who is a traditional player in a bank? Is the transformation of customers to non-traditional players inevitable?
Okay,
That's
thank you very much once again, Gifty.
You're welcome.
A traditional player in a bank. So, I mean, we spoke about the banking system and I kept on mentioning legacy forms of banking. Any bank or any institution that continuously operates or does work based or depending on the analog forms of delivery, you can call a traditional, player in the bank. So they have not done any form of digitizing. You know, digitizing is different from digitalization. Digitizing is changing from analog to digital. It ends there. So the things are in analog form. Let me just change it to digital. And then digitalization is that whatever you have changed, in total, you are adding other technological tools to deliver. So the interaction between customers and the bank, interaction between organizations and the bank, that is what we call digitalization because it's incorporating everything. So a digitized form is a subset of digitalization. So Any bank or any institution that continuously depend on the old ways, the legacy ways of delivery, they have not changed. The bank doesn't have an ATM. The bank doesn't have an online system. There's nothing like somebody logging on and chatting with the bank. They don't even have a website. I'll be shocked anyway. But this is what you call a traditional. They are still in the old system. They are still in the legacy form, the legacy way. They haven't digitalized or they haven't digitized anything to change when it comes to technology. That is how you can refer to them that they are in the traditional system. So I think there's a next one. He said that is the transformation of customers to non-traditional players inevitable. I mean, we say you can force the horse to the river side, you cannot force it to. Yes. So this is something we are promoting. This is something we are pushing. Now it behoves on every bank, and that is why banks have relationship managers or officers. I have been a relationship manager for years. Relationship. Your customer, obviously, you cannot force, but you must encourage. Imagine a customer that always depends on manual, writing something on paper, and then enters the banking hall, and all that he or she sees is that people are sitting down. Nobody is standing and queuing. And then all the person hears that, yes, next person. They will see a number showing at the top. The person goes. And he will stand there for the next 10 minutes and ask himself, am I lost? So you realize that indirectly, automatically, the person would want to change and move with the tide. So yeah, that's the answer I can give on that as well.
Okay, thank you, Ebenezer. We have another question from Eben. He's saying that can fintech take over trade-related duties in a bank? I take that again. Can fintech take over trade-related duties in the bank?
Yes, the gospel truth is that digitalization is still evolving. It's still ongoing. It hasn't stopped. I don't even think whether it will stop because all the time changes will come. If as at now, they aren't able to, going forward, they can. But I know now there are ways that fintechs can do when it comes to trade. Maybe not so much in our terrain here, but it is going on elsewhere. So the answer is yes. And it is even going to be more going forward.
Okay, thank you very much, Ebenezer. We have another one again from Isaac Kumesina. He says that, do you think a time would come that fintech would be licensed? Is there a chance? Do you think a time will come where fintech will be licensed?
Thank you, Isaac. Yeah, your questions are strong questions. But I can tell you for a fact that as at last week, my checks indicated that the BOG, is behind closed doors. It hasn't come out yet, but they are making considerations to license certain fintechs. I cannot mention names, but I'm sure when it comes out, So definitely, because you see, whether we like it, yes, these people, somebody will say, but they are operating online. We spoke about cybersecurity and the rest. And I keep on mentioning that there must be collaboration. So if they are collaborating with the banks, if anything happens, it can affect the bank. So they must be licensed. It's crucial. I believe that will happen. And like I said, I know there are certain discussions going on behind closed doors for that to happen. We don't know how, but it's going to be.
Okay, thank you so much. I think you even addressed the next one. He said, if so, what happens to the banks?
Exactly.
Yeah. We have another question from Peter Ojemen, and he's saying that, do we need a loan client to sign a physical signature, or e-signature is sufficient enough in case of any legal issue in court? He's asking, do we need a loan client to sign a physical signature, or an e-signature is sufficient enough in case of any legal issue in court?
Every bank has its own culture. That is a reality. When it comes to this one, banks that's why they have the units of compliance, and compliance will be strictly in charge of this. Compliance will have a legal head, or maybe the legal is separated whatsoever. If it's separated, when compliance have already done, it will go through legal. So these are the units within the bank that must be in charge and can determine. So as I sit here or I stand, I cannot really speak for each bank. You understand? For that, because even with the signature that are signed on, I mean, we have issues. So definitely, the compliance team and the legal must sit up or sit and decide on it, and it is case by case per bank. I cannot say outright that that is right or not. Yeah, that one I can't say.
Okay, thank you very much. Ebenezer, we have a next one. Quite a number of questions here for you from Frank Baumia. Frank Baumia, and he's asking, he said that kudos, amazing presentation. Okay. And he's also asking, he says that what methods of teaching curriculum are the universities and banking industry educators like CIB, etc., putting in place to embrace these changes? Okay, and he goes on to ask, are the young graduates getting accurately prepared for the future of banking? Should I take that again?
Yep. Can
Exactly.
you
So
take that
he's
again?
okay, I'm taking that again. He's saying that what methods of teaching, okay, curriculum are the universities and banking industry educators, okay, using to prepare graduates for the future of banking?
Okay. All right. So, first of all, let me say this. Before you even think about that, I think the first person you will need to speak to in a bank or in your bank is either the CTO or CIO, the Chief Technology Officer or the Chief Information Officer. I can tell you that these people can be of enormous help because they have the expertise in this area. And all the time they are developing themselves. I mean, why it is so easier for them to direct you and say, okay, fine. Even before you go on, let me coach you a bit about this so that when you go, things will become easier for you. Otherwise, they can direct you, go here and go here. The truth, I like that question because, again, yes, I've been asking myself that what are the financial institutions? I mean, you ask people studying BSc banking and finance. We have the Chartered Institute of Bankers. Of course, I can tell you there are some things that my friend Patrick Bankwa is there now, and I know he's doing something wonderful. Great things are coming from CID. But like I said, they would and others will be ahead of us.
Um,
Hello.
Ebenezer, I think you would have to take that again because
Okay.
it was
Okay.
temporary.
So all that I was saying was that as a research on that, but if they haven't, it is something they must do urgently, very crucial, very, very important. Otherwise, we will still stay behind and let the others, or when I say the others, they'll be ahead of us. And the future of banking is not waiting for anybody. I believe there are some good stuff that are coming up. But first of all, that's why I said that before you even think of going to study anywhere, speak with your chief technology officer or chief information officer. These people can be of great help to you in terms of directing you where to go or even give you a certain form of coaching about these things. I hope I
Hello,
answered.
Ebenezer. Yes, yes. We
Hello.
have one last question from Herbert. It says that I would like to know the extent at which customer profiles affect digitization of banks. We have a critical mass of account holders who are not first movers in terms of being technology savvy. Most people do not find it safe dealing digitally when their hard-earned money
Hello.
is involved. Ebenezer, can you hear me? Hello? A few technical interruptions here and there. Very sorry. Um, Apologies to all listeners. Ebenezer, are you back online? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, Gifty, I can hear you now.
Good, 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 good. So I'm reading the last question and then we take off. We
All right.
finally okay. It says that I would like to this from Herbert. He says, I would like to know the extent at which customer profiles affect digitization of banks. We have a critical mass of account holders who are not first movers in terms of being technology savvy. Most people do not find it safe dealing digitally when their hard earned money is actually involved.
I like that question. I like that very well. I mean, and I can tell you this answer is straightforward. The trick in getting clients of such nature is relationship, nothing else. That's the reality. I mean, when you speak with people, however angry the person is, immediately you speak, the heart will melt, it will come down. So customers who do not so much, because if there's no relationship, you cannot coach them, you cannot educate them, you cannot make them understand that this is the new normal. This is very, very crucial going forward. When we have this in the system, we can always refer to it. Yes, of course, definitely there are people who will still be, adamant. They wouldn't want to, because I spoke to you earlier about the legacy forms. Traditionally, they are so glued and so stuck and they do not want to change. One of the most difficult things to do in life is changing, so you must understand them. But relationship can work. When you leverage on relationship, you'll be able to what? Convince people and let them be able to do that. Digitization, when it comes to cloud, can take as much data as possible. I mean, when we talk about maybe cloud, not today, but another time you know about, hybrid cloud and all the systems, the different types that some banks are incorporating in the Western world. So it can take as much data as possible. Client profiling is crucial because today the person would or probably relocate from wherever he or she is. But you may have the person's phone number. You may have taken 2 phone numbers and you will try the other, you can get the person. So profiling will be very crucial, and digitalization will help in that because it can keep or it can store a lot of this in the cloud.
Okay, Ebenezer. Yes, I hope Herbert has been well answered. Ebenezer, are you through?
Yes, I'm here. I'm true. Yes.
Okay, awesome,
Unless
awesome. That
there's
was
something
that
else,
was that
I'm
was
true.
our last question for the night. Ooh, very educative. I believe wherever you are, you would want to give Ebenezer Asari, a Suman who happened to be our speaker for tonight, a resounding virtual applause. I mean, wherever you are, applause would do. Ebenezer, thank you so much. It was
Thank you
educative.
so much to CGIA for the opportunity. I'm
Yes,
grateful.
yes. We are also thankful that you've made time to educate all our listeners. Let me be quick to say that this webinar was actually brought to you by the CGI Network Ghana under the CGIA Institute Worldwide. And we are going to come your way again from time to time with discussions and conversations around relevant topics like just what we discussed today. You can all testify that it's been very educative, insightful, and I mean, most importantly, very needful for the times we are in. And so I would say that let's all buckle up and let's get ready for any day, anytime when the CGI once again calls on you to be a part of any webinar we organize in the future. Um, Basically, I would also still encourage all all CGI members to continuously share CGI with their friends, with their families, with their colleagues every single day. You see anything that concerns the CGI, do not hesitate to share with others. Tell others what the CGI is doing and the ability it has to actually give them a competitive edge over their contemporaries. And this is what we offer: limitless opportunities. And so together, we will keep leading. One more time, I want to say a very big thank you to every one of you who joined the webinar, the 100 of you who joined the webinar. And soothing to know that it has been recorded and it's going to be uploaded on YouTube. And after that is done, the link will be shared with every one of you so you can access it any day, anytime you will need this information. I want to say thank you and have a
Thank
good
you too.
evening. All right.
Good evening. Bye.
Bye bye.